chant prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshashurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Kamalam Shri Gaurana Vaishnava Samcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवे प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Thank you for coming, all of you, and thank you for giving me opportunity. And these are the prayers we have to chant before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's chant one by one. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayam Namaskrutyam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaivam Udariyat Shrunavatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridantostotmitrani Vidunti Satam नष्टप्रायेष्वभ्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. I humbly seek the blessings of Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 2 and Chapter 9 verses 38 to 46. I got opportunity blessings of Vaishnavas, and if there are any shortcomings or any mistakes or faults is due to my lacking or shortcomings. So the theme of this class is recreation and disciplic succession begins after Lord disappearance. So these are the verses from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 2, 9, 38 to 46 verses. So where we have a theme of class is recreation, disciplic succession begins when Lord disappeared. So just to recap, the Lord first tells Brahma that knowledge about his confidential and must be realized by devotional service. So this is just to recap from the last session which other devotees have taken, like Balaram Lila Prabhu, Nitya Gauranga Prabhu. So where we had like where Lord Shri Krishna explained the 4 essential points about himself in 4 verses. We call Chatushloki Bhagavatam. In Chatushloki Bhagavatam, we have 4 verses, 33, 34, 35, 36. The verses 33 talks about the Supreme Lord alone exists before and during and after the creation. That is the Jnana part. And then 34 verse, whatever appears to exist without relation to him is illusory energy. That is Vijnana. And 35 verse, the Lord exists within and outside of everything is Rahasyam. And the 36 last is one must always search for him, the personality of Godhead. This is Tadangam. So these 4 verses also connects with the 3 aspects, which is Sambandha, Abhidhay and Prayojan. So Sambandh is verse 33 and 34, and Abhidhay is verse 36, and Prayojan is verse 35, which is Rahasya. So this is the first verse. Let's chant together. Shri Shuka Vacha Sampradishyaam Ajano Jnananam Parameshtitam Pashyatasya Tadrupam Atmano Nunyadhari. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Sukdev Goswami said to Maharaj Parikshit, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, after being seen in his transcendental form, instructing Brahmaji, the leader of living entity, disappeared. So, I got few points from this Srila Prabhupada purport. So, in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is talking about Lord. Lord is Ajna and among Jananam. So, what is Ajna? Ajna means the Supreme Person. And who will be the supreme person? He will be the supreme person among all other person. That means all other person Jananam, like public or other person. And Lord Hari is supreme among them. And Lord Brahma is talking about supreme person is nothing but the Govinda. Govinda is in transcendental abode personality form, transcendental form. And then second point what we're talking about here, Prabhupada, is whenever there is a Chetna or knowledge, the personal feature comes in, and everything is of the same quality, namely Chetna, and therefore everything there is individual and personal. Here Prabhupada is stressing on the point of Chetna. Chetna means whenever the Chetna comes, that means there is personal existence. There will be a personal form. And when we talk about personal form, then there exists interaction, there is a relationship, there is a reciprocation. So Brahma itself by this in shloka is confirmed that Krishna, the Govinda, is a supreme personal, and then and whenever there is a Chetna present or knowledge is present, because Krishna's body is nothing but a Satchit Ananda, full of bliss, full of knowledge, and full of eternity. So when then Prabhupada is talking about Chetna comes, that means Lord has a form. So Prabhupada is talking about impersonal form, like they are talking about Brahman, but here Brahmaji is talking about Chetna and Ajna, which is Supreme Person. And the third point, where instructed by Supreme Personality of Godhead to Brahmaji, the leader broadcasts the message. In this, Srila Prabhupada is talking about how the Lord comes and talks to the Brahmaji and imparted the knowledge. Why Lord comes into the world and then gave the knowledge to the Brahmaji? Because Brahmaji is the leader. He is the leader, he is the secondary creator. And after doing long years of millions of years of tapasya, he able to see the form of the transcendental form of the Lord. Then he received the knowledge from the Lord. And then Prabhupada is talking about personally Supreme Personality of Godhead gave him knowledge. And he gave knowledge to the leader who is fully capable. He is totally qualified. So he is qualified. And what leader does? Leader, they broadcast the message what they receive from the Lord to the all other persons or people for their benefits. So that's the point. Like usually in our society currently, where we are in Kali Yuga, we can see that the leaders who are there of the society or any organizations or on those things, when they receive the information, what they do? They manipulate, they calculate, they interpret it, they do modification, and then they pass. It doesn't come as it is. So when we give it to the right leader, and then leader as a leader, he broadcasts that message of Supreme Personality of Godhead, devotional service to the other public people, so that they can take advantage of it. Let's move to the next slide. On next slide, we have 239, the translation on the disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who is the object of transcendental enjoyment for the senses of devotees. Brahma, with folded hands, began to recreate the universe, full with the living entities as it was previously. So here I have taken out from Srila Prabhupada 3 points. So in the first point, Hari is the object of fulfilling the senses of all living entities. So now we can understand, like being a devotee, the object of fulfilling the senses of all living entities is Hari. But what we do in current world? In current world, the people, they use their senses for their own sense gratification. So the living entity worship the senses instead of engaging them properly in fulfilling the desires of Supreme. In we can see in the shloka in Bhakti Samrit book, like 1.1.12, the purpose of senses is fulfilled by seeing, touching, and glorifying the devotees who are pure devotees of the Lord. In second point, in Hari Bhakti Swadhyaya, we can the purpose of the senses is described in 13.12. What is the purpose of the senses? The purpose of senses is fulfilled by seeing and touching, glorifying devotees, just like Srila Prabhupada, Narad Muni, Brahmaji, because they are pure devotees of the Lord. They are always working, glorifying the Lord, and acting according to the Lord's law, and they are always giving pleasure to the Lord senses. The whole process of God worship is meant to rectify the conditioned activities of the senses and to re-engage them in the direct service of the Lord. For example, Lord Brahma. So here, the point Prabhupada is talking about, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of God consciousness? is meant, like, and how come the Lord in different incarnation comes to this material world, how Lord sends different like different his associates, his energies to this world. Like we can see, like just like Brahmaji, we have Naradji, Vyasadev, then we can see in current just we have Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara, how they come to the world. So what is the purpose of this purpose of God brings to man? So basically is to rectify the current situation of the conditioned souls. So whatever the conditioned souls are there, they are going through the conditional activities. What are their conditional activities? They are doing in three: Raja, Tama, and Satagun. So all of them, all living entities are doing some activities in three modes of nature. So they are going through conditional activities. To re-engage those activities in a direct service of the Lord, that is the purpose. That is to rectify the conditional activities of the living entities, to engage them in a service of the Lord. So what example we have? Yeah, Brahmaji. We also have example like many other great saints or acharyas. So Brahmaji in this context, Brahmaji is talking about how Brahmaji received the knowledge from the Lord. When Brahmaji received the knowledge of the Lord, then he engaged into, the purport says, he engaged into recreation of the universe. So he's getting into the activities now after getting the knowledge. And why he's getting into recreation? Because he wanted to please Lord. To reclaim the conditioned soul from the field of sense gratification, that is the Lord purpose. So as we talk about that, and then improper treatment of the conditioned souls, the senses may be treated by curing the defect. Here, very good examples Prabhupada gives, like how do we treat the conditions souls? Like we currently whatever we have in current, we can see in whatever activity, like whether it's office or medical, or even we can say jobs and any other thing, how they treat the conditioned souls. They're not treating conditional. What they do patching work. So here, Prabhupada gave example. If you have some conditions or you have disease to the eyes, it doesn't mean you have to plug out your eyes. So you have to cure your disease to the eyes so that you can see. Another example of Srila Prabhupada also gave, like if you have some problem with your brain or head, then it doesn't mean you cut off your head. So you have to cure so that you can see, you can utilize your senses. So that's why. So improper treatment of conditioned souls is not like just like detaching from their natural position. We have to bring them, those senses, to the natural position, constitutional position, so that they can engage into transcendental service of the Lord. And the senses may be treated by curing by defect. So we have to cure just like the eyes. We can move to the next slide. So in this verse 20, we can chant together. Prajapati Dharmapati Ekada Niyama Niyaman Bhadram Prajanam Avichan Asti Sarvata Kamaya. Translation. Thus, once upon a time, the forefather of living entities and the father of religiousness, Lord Brahma, situated himself in acts of regulative principles, desiring self-interest for the welfare of all living entities. Here are a few points, and I was able to hear the lecture of His Holiness Bhakticharum Swami on this verse. So there are a few points, and also I've taken out some points from Prabhupada. So first point is situated in the exalted position without having undertaken a regulative life of rules and regulation. So Prabhupada is talking about here Prajapati. Who is the Prajapati and who is Dharmapati? Prajapati is forefather of living entities, and Dharmapati means the father of religious life. So here, as we can see, Brahmaji, who is the Prajapati and Dharmapati, after doing so much penances, he has taken up that position of recreation as a secondary creator. So one cannot be situated in exalted position without undertaking regulative life, regulative rules and regulations. Yeah, rules and regulations. So that means what we are trying to do, like a soul, maybe a soul cannot go have a unrestricted life of sense gratification like animal life. So we can see how Brahmaji have taken, being a so exalted position also, have taken regulative life rules and regulation. So what about a jiva? What about the normal conditions? They have to go take some regulatory principles, as Srila Prabhupada stated, like 4 regulatory principles you have to follow in chanting. So we have to do minimum that. So otherwise, what we will be allured by the illusion Maya, and we will be engaged into nonsense. Just like we are not regulating our senses. So the senses become unrestriction. That means, oh, if I go somewhere on the way path and I see on this restaurant good, some nice dish, okay, I will eat. Then I will go somewhere else. I will say, okay, this is not. We have to do. Okay, I can do whatever I want to do, right? So there is always rule regulations to make a conditioned souls gradually elevate to the God consciousness, Krishna consciousness. And we can see from the example of your Brahmaji. So here in second point in this verse, we can see he desired the welfare of all as servants of God. So great point here we have, like how Brahmaji desired welfare of all living entities. Just like Srila Prabhupada says, a true devotee, what he always well-wisher to others. He always well-wisher to all living entities, and he give respects to other living entities. So in Brahmaji's case, here we can see how he is desired the welfare of all the servants. So that means he consider all living entities as servants of God. They should be go back to Godhead. They should be rectify their conditioned souls and go back to Godhead. So Brahmaji, in order to teach all concerned within the jurisdictions of his generation, taught the same principle of sense control for executing higher duties. So here we can see how Brahmaji have taken higher duties to execute it by example, following regulatory rules and regulations. So the highest life of moral principle is what? Here, when we talk about in modern life, here, what is the highest principle? Highest principle of moral principle? Highest life of moral principle. And someone say, oh, I want to become more famous. Oh, I want to become more charitable, or I want to become rich. Or I become more beautiful. I want to become more powerful. We can see like whether it's sports, economics, or it is logical or a society. So there are 3 things like Labh, Puja, and Pratishtha. So those are the 3 things. Labh, Puja, Pratishtha. People are hankering for it. But as per the Vedas, what they say the highest life of moral principle is to become a devotee, become a servant of the Lord. The pure devotees of the Lord, like Brahma, person in chain of to become a devotee of the Lord, because pure devotees of the Lord has all the good qualities of the Lord. Even Prabhupada was saying one of the lecture, like even the conditioned soul is from the background of Chandala. He may not be like a high class from like high educated high classes, or very educated, or very good looking, or very literate and those things. But even conditionals come from the low background, or even Chandala. If he take up the chanting of the holy name and take up the God consciousness path, Krishna consciousness path, then and he become a devotee, then he has fulfilled his highest life of moral principles. And then as soon as he take up the path of devotional service, then all good qualities will manifest due course of time. That's why when when the devotee, they become a devotee of the Lord, then pure devotees of the Lord has all good qualities, and that is the highest moral principles. There may be other principles like, okay, you be good, don't harm others, don't kill others, don't cheat others, many others. Yeah, those are the temporary. Some level they have moral, but the highest moral principles to become the devotee of the Lord. Then only they can achieve that through executing devotional service. Now, do not do anything to instruct their subordinates without acting accordingly themselves. This is also a wonderful point here, Prabhupada stating. We can see in the example of Brahmaji, Naradji, we can see example of Srila Prabhupada. What they're talking, they're talking like whenever they receive the knowledge from Guru Parampara, from higher authorities, like in Brahmaji case, he received the knowledge from Lord, and Brahmaji gave to Narad Muni. Narad Muni received from Brahmaji. So when they receive the transcendental knowledge, right, what they share with others. When they share with others, how they share? They instruct the subordinates without themselves they're acting according to that. So that's why the pure devotees of the Lord, like Brahma and person in the chain of succession, do not do anything to instruct their subordinates without acting accordingly themselves. Here comes Sadachar. So that means as we instructing others, we should also try to follow the footsteps of Mahajans, or footsteps of pure devotees like Narada and Brahmaji. So we should also act accordingly as we instruct others. So on the one more point to catch on this, on 40th, Bhakti Jaru Maharaj was talking about, like, as Brahmaji was engaged in creating a different bodies as per the instruction of the Lord. So leader who has taken the life of rules and regulation, he guides the people and society. So one point Maharaj was talking about, the leader is so important. If the leader is not God consciousness, if leader doesn't take a path of regulative rules and regulations, then it's very hard, because he cannot have his senses properly engaged, cannot have senses been disciplined. Otherwise, it will be misguiding to the general mass of people, misguiding to the public and societies. That's why it's very important the leader should have also taken the path of regulative life. So in translations, I try to summarize in these three shlokas. So let's read shlokas 41, 42, 43. Narada, the most dear of the inheritors, sons of the Brahma, always ready to serve his father, strictly follows the instruction of his father by his mannerly behavior, meekness, and sense control. 42. Narada very much pleased his father and desired to know all about the energies of the Vishnu, the master of all energies. For Narada was the greatest of all sages and the greatest of all deities, O king. 43. The great sage Narada also inquired in detail from his father, Brahma, the great grandfather of all living entities, after seeing him well satisfied. Here we are talking about the qualities of Narad Muni as being a son of Brahmaji and as a great Muni, Mahamuni. So Narad Muni is Mahamuni, the great sage, and he is a Mahabhagavat, the first class devotee of the Lord. So why he is first class of the devotee of the Lord? As per Vedas, there are three departments of human knowledge disseminated by the Vedas. What are those three? One is Karma Kanda, other is Jnana Kanda, and third is Upasana Kanda. So Dev Rishi Narada inherited from his father Brahma devotional service, which is Upasana Kanda, and Daksha inherited from his father fruity work. So Narada is described as the most beloved son of Brahma because of his good behavior and meekness and readiness to render service unto his father. So now, for Narad Muni is Brahmaji's father. For conditioned souls, who is the father? Yes, in a Kali Yuga, by bodily material perspective, we can say we have parents from whom we came. But ultimately, who is the Supreme Father? Supreme Father is Krishna, Narayan. So he is the Supreme Father. And Lord Brahma, in this verse we're talking about, Lord Brahma is a secondary creator. So ultimately, who is the Supreme Father? Lord Krishna. So that's why we have to serve Lord Krishna. Just like Lord Brahma, the father of several well-known sons like Daksha, Chatusanas, Narada, they all are serving Brahma by taking some qualities, those things, and engaging them. Just like we talk about now Narad Muni, he is taken up devotional service, Upasana Kanda. So how he is taking up and following up and sharing with others. Narada, what is Narada's main business? Only business is to turn everyone to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. And who are the great example of that? Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, right? So we can see how Narad Muni have taken up from his father that Upasana Kanda and devotional service, and his only business to turn everyone means all souls, conditioned souls, where whomever we meet, he talking about devotional service. So how to engage him, that conditioned souls, his activities in service of the Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said in this case, like, Jara Dekho Tariko Krishna Upadesh. So it's the same thing, it's coming from the Guru Parampara. Narada make him the dearmost son of his father, and all is due to being a first class devotee of the Lord, always anxious to know more and more about Supreme. So here we can see how Narada, being a good son of his father Brahmaji, by his good behavior and being a first class devotee, he is always anxious to inquire more about the Supreme. In our case, what we should be? even we are also tiny souls, jiva, minute. So we should be also following the footsteps. We should also inquire more about the our Father, real Father. Who is our real Father? Supreme Father Krishna. So we should be enthusiastic. We should be inquisitive to know more and more about the Lord and His pastime, His activities, Rupa Guna Leela, to know about the Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita 10.9, where he talk about Mat Chita, Mat Gata Parana, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me and their lives are fully devoted to me, my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. The process of understanding spiritual transcendental knowledge, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 4:34, example just like Arjuna. So what we know about Bhagavad Gita 4.4, tad vidhi pranipatena, right? Tad vidhi pranipatena. So in this context, we can see how Arjuna was advised by Krishna 5,000 years back, and he has taken up that knowledge, Rajvidya, Rajguyam. So he has taken that transcendental knowledge. So how do we understand this process of understanding? That means one jiva, one soul or anybody, any person, if they want to understand, they should follow the footsteps of Arjuna. They should follow the footsteps of Narad Muni. That what they should first hear, then they should render some service, and they should inquire submissively from higher authority, Guru. Right? So same thing we have seen how Arjuna have inquired from higher authority Krishna, and also Narad Muni how inquired from Brahmaji. Narad is not only well behaved, meek, obedient, but also a self control. This very good point of the self control. One may be in this world we can say, oh, he's a good man, he's acting behaviourly, he's not cheated, he's very true, honest, straightforward. Yes, there may be other qualities like well behaved, meek, and obedient, but he should be self control. And you can get self control by following the path of devotional service, by following the rules and regulation. You have to take some penance, just like we read in last verse how Brahmaji have taken being an exalted position. So what about us? We have to take. And that's why I heard in Prabhupada lecture many times, like be serious, be strong, get up early in the morning, chant your rounds, attend Bhagavatam class, engage yourself in services. And last, I have taken some verse purport excerpt. Without becoming a Goswami, one can become neither a disciple nor a spiritual master. Prabhupada said, one must not self-control. One who is not self-controlled, especially in sex life, can become neither a disciple nor a spiritual master. One must have disciplinary training in controlling speaking, anger, and the tongue, the mind, and the belly, and the genitals. So we can think about this, like how Prabhupada is talking very nicely, like we should control. If we cannot have our senses regulative by following the path of bhakti, devotional service, then we cannot follow the path of Goswamis or path of Mahajans. That's why I'm saying we cannot become a disciple or we cannot become a spiritual master unless until we take up the path of self-control. And we can see your example, Narad Muni. So another we have, one cannot understand transcendental knowledge simply by becoming grammarian. Here Prabhupada is talking that, oh, I want to become like, we have so many universities, we have so many colleges, they have big PhD in philosophy, PhD in philosophy on so and so, like different religions they have, but they all are understanding through a grammar. That's why Prabhupada is saying real understanding of transcendental knowledge, devotional service, is not becoming a logician or a grammarian. The Vedas declare that Yasya Deva Para Bhakti Yatha Deva Tatha Guru Tasyate Katheta He Artha Prakashante Mahatma. Only unto one who has unflinching devotion to the Lord and to the spiritual master does transcendental knowledge becomes automatically revealed. Shruta Upanishad 623. Such relationship between disciple and the spiritual master is eternal. One who is now the disciple is the next spiritual master. And one cannot be bona fide and authorized spiritual master unless one has been strictly obedient to his spiritual master. Brahmaji, as disciple of Supreme Lord, received the real knowledge and imparted to his dear disciple Narada. There are the same points we are talking about. The main thing is obedient. Disciple comes from discipline, Prabhupada says. So unless until devotee or the person is disciplined and take up the path of devotional service by regulating, but following the rules and regulation, then he cannot become either disciple or spiritual master. Once he become a good obedient student means devotee or disciple, then he has very good chances to become a spiritual master. So that's why, and the relationship starts between disciple and spiritual master, with that being a so obedient, meek, and humble and submissive. In 2994, we can read together. Tasma idam bhagavatam purnam dasha lakshanam proktam bhagavata praha pratya putra bhuta. Translation. Thereupon, the supplementary Vedic literature Srimad Bhagavatam, which was described by the personality of Godhead, which contains 10 characteristics, was told with satisfaction by the father Brahma to his son Narada. So here we can see like how the Vedic literature now here is talking about the other part, disciplic succession. How Brahmaji received the knowledge from Shiva Bhagavatam and describe to Narad Muni in what? In 10 characteristics. How Brahmaji received? Brahmaji received in 4 Chatushlokas. Now Brahmaji, after hearing that Krishna instructing to the Lord Brahma in Chatushloka, Brahmaji taking that Chatushloka and giving passing on to his son Narada in 10 characteristics, and with the satisfaction by the Brahma to his son Narada. We can see in the 4 verses it is first said that Lord existed before and creation, and thus beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam includes Vedanta like Janmada Asya. The 10 characteristics will be explained in the next chapter, as we know. In this point, Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken in 4 verses. It has 10 characteristics. That means we cannot say like, okay, Lord has given to 4 verses to Brahmaji. That means Srimad Bhagavatam is only 4 verses. It's not like that. It's coming from Lord, and then Brahmaji expanding that 4 verses to explain the Narad Muni in 10 characteristics. Now we can see further how Narad Muni take those 10 characteristics, how he share with others. That's where the second point comes. One should not misunderstand by a wrong interpretation that the Lord spoke on only 4 verses, that therefore all the rest of the verses, 17,994 verses, are useless. Because people think, okay, I want a key verses, I want a key concept, I want key. Yes, those are the key verses. But to explain that 4 verses, there are other 17,994 verses to bring up all the intimacy, all the glorification, a pastime of the nectarian pastime of the Lord. As we know, like require so many verses just to explain them properly. So in this case, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Srila Rupa Goswami in nutshell that, but the disciple Rupa Goswami expanded this very elaborately, and the same subject was further explained by Jiva Goswami and further Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So we know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just came in 500 years back. So how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the law of Godhead, how we should be developed, how it should be followed, so he gave that knowledge to Srila Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami expanded that, what he received in nutshell, he expanded to the Jiva Goswami, and then from Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And we can see there are so many books written by Rupa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, on the same subject, devotional service. The last is the purport expert got it from Prabhupada. Like it is unlimited in strength, Srimad Bhagavatam, and however one may expand it according to its own ability. Bhagavatam still cannot be finished by such expansion. Srimad Bhagavatam, being the sound representation of the Lord, is simultaneously explained in 4 verses and in 4 billion verses all the same. In as much as the Lord is smaller than an atom and bigger than the unlimited sky. It's a very good example. So another good example Prabhupada gave, like Lord can do anything. There is a example, right? That when Narad Muni was traveling and he met one cobbler, and then he asked to the cobbler, and he also met the one Brahmana, and he asked a question to Narad Muni. And in that example, we know like how cobbler explained when Narad Muni asked, how do you understand that when I say that Narayana or Krishna is taking the small needle and going through the elephant from the hole of the needle. So he gave the very right example. You see this banyan tree where under what I said, this banyan tree has so many fruits, and among so many thousands of fruits, there is, if you take one fruit and within that one fruit you have thousands of seeds, and in that thousand of seeds, if you take one seed and within that one seed there is another banyan tree. So we can see how Prabhupada is talking about, like Krishna can be smaller than the item, at the same time he can be bigger than the unlimited sky. So Bhagavatam we cannot manipulate or logical debate like, okay, oh, these are four verses and these are not, other things are not so important. It's not. That's why Prabhupada says that it depends upon the ability of the speaker. Speaker means according to the own's ability. Here we can see Brahmaji to Narad Muni to Vyasadev. The same thing we can see in our Guru Parampara from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rup Goswami, then Jeev Goswami, and then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And we have seen how Prabhupada have wrote so many books translated in English for the Western world, all the worlds in Kali Yuga people coming, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and many other books. These are the last two verses we have, so we will go through translations of 45 verse. 2945. In succession, O king, the great sage Narada instructed Srimad Bhagavatam unto the unlimited powerful Vyasadeva, who meditated in devotional service upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, on the bank of the river Saraswati. And in 2946, O king, your questions as to how the universe become manifested from the gigantic form of the Personality of Godhead, as well as other questions I shall answer in detail by explanation of 4 verses already mentioned. So we can see in Srimad Bhagavatam, okay, we can go to the points. The Bhakti Yogis. So here devotees, we can say they do not undertake the trouble to meditate upon the impersonal Brahman. So here Prabhupada is talking about the Bhakti Yogis, the devotees, they do not take trouble to understand the impersonal feature of the God, Brahman. Whereas we can see in the example of Narad Muni and many acharyas and Brahmaji, what they are doing, they are taken a trouble. What? To meditate upon the Lord's features, Rupa Guna Nama, Leela. Right? So one should be meditating on the features of the Lord, pastime of the Lord, or holy name of the Lord. That's why we're saying like Bhakti Yogis, devotees. So the meditate on Brahman Paramam, or the Supreme Brahman. Brahman realization begins from the impersonal effulgence, but by the further progress of such meditation, manifestation of Supreme Soul, Paramatma. Impersonal Brahman has no activities, but the personality of Godhead has many activities, and all such activities are transcendental without any tinge of material quality. So this is very good. So why we call Bhakti Yogis? Because they always engage in the activities, engage their senses in the pleasure of the Lord. That's what Bhakti Yoga. Narada advised meditation upon the transcendental activities of the Lord. So we can see example of Narad Muni, how he was meditating on the transcendental activities of the Lord, which he received the knowledge from the Brahmaji. So here is one expert. Arjuna summarized the purpose of Bhagavad Gita by his realization of Lord Krishna and thus said, My dear personality of Godhead, you are the supreme absolute truth, the original person and eternal form of bliss and knowledge, and this is confirmed by Narada, Sita, Devala and Vyasa. And above all, your personal self has also confirmed it. And this is Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, 12 to 13 shloka. Param Brahma, Paramadhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. So here we can see example from Arjuna. So then Lord's Maya, illusion, no existence without the Lord. Here Prabhupada is talking about how Lord's Maya. So Lord Maya is how it exists without existing of the brightness. Just like darkness cannot exist without the brightness. So Maya, illusion cannot exist without the Lord. If you, just like Prabhupada gave an example, like if there is a sun out and if you're saying towards the sun, you're facing towards the sun, then you see all bright. If you're facing away from the sun, away from the God or Krishna, you're facing somewhere else, then you'll see some shadow. And that is, or you'll see darkness, and that is your Maya, illusion. So all questions that can be humanly possible regarding the universal affairs, beginning from its creation, are all answered in Srimad Bhagavatam. The answers depend only on the qualification of person who explained them. So here it is talking about, so one more point about Maya. The Maya cannot be overcome by the ordinary person. Maya because Maya cannot exist without the Lord. So if you take the shelter of the Lord, just like a person looking at the sun, just like we take shelter of the Lord's word of sea, then Maya cannot touch us, Prabhupada says. So let's move the next. And in the last point, here Prabhupada is talking about like Srimad Bhagavatam have all the answers. We can see in current world, people have talking about Many now we have just now example of like Malaysian Airlines. The airline has been vanquished. People they're not able to trace the airline. What happened to the people for so many days, right? Few days. So it's just vanquished. So all the answers, why it is happening to me, why it's happened like this, why it's happening. So we can see all the answers humanly possible. Those all answers are in Srimad Bhagavatam, and we can hear from all the acharyas who have given the answers from the Bhagavatam. So here is the summary of the class from 2938 to 46. Srila Shukdev Goswami relates that after the Lord disappeared, Brahmaji proceeded with the creation. Lord Brahma narrated Srimad Bhagavatam to Sri Narad Muni. Sri Narad Muni later instructed same to Srila Vyasadeva in disciplic succession. So we can see how disciplic succession started from Brahmaji, Narad Muni, and Vyasadeva. And from Vyasadeva, we can see it down. So thank you very much, all of you. And Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And these are the references for you. I refer Srila Prabhupada books, Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam, Veda based site, and some notes and lectures from I able to hear from Bhakti Charu Maharaj, Tama Krishna Goswami, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and a few of the notes from Haridas Prabhu and Murugan Prabhu's this. So one more point I want to relate back on, I think this one, where the last 43. So I just remember the point where Tamal Krishna Goswami was talking about like relationship between spiritual master and disciple, and how Srila Prabhupada compares the worldly teacher and the students. Maharaj was talking about the worldly teachers get paid. They are agents. So okay, according to what they're getting paid for those teachers, they are teaching the knowledge. But whereas spiritual knowledge, transcendental knowledge, is not like through business of pay. Even they are God. But even worldly, even they are get paid, we give still respect as a teachers because we're learning from them. But whereas when you say Brahmana, teacher, or Vaishnava Brahmana, like when we say a devotee or true devotee who is following, that when he's sharing the transcendental knowledge, he is not a paid devotee. So that is the difference Maharaj was talking about how it is important. Like big universities and teachers in religious societies and universities, they all are getting paid and they are agent, like, and they are trying to distribute. So do you think the teachers who are teaching those religious subjects or other thing, they are getting paid an agent, they can reflect the as is the devotional service? Because here we can see Brahma, Narad Muni, and then Vyasadeva. They none of them this, but they are for the pleasure of the Lord. By engaging themselves, everything in the pleasure of Lord, in the service of the Lord, they are distributing that knowledge. And then also Maharaj was talking about one military science, Saman Krishna Goswami, that military science is not for the ordinary person. It is for Raj Vidya Rajguyam. It is for the administrator, just like Arjuna. So how he received? Even he is a military person, but he received knowledge, transferred knowledge from Krishna. How he received? Tat Viri Pranipatena, right? So just like Maharaj was talking about, intelligence should be guided and well. That means even you are under military administration, but you are a devotee, you're following the footsteps of this, and then you're taking the knowledge, but he's a guided, he's a disciplined, his senses are controlled. We can see any leader or other people in society, how, and we can see how Arjuna, he was well disciplined or guided by his teachers there in Vedic times, and also Krishna. So in the example Maharaj gave, how Haridas Thakur, like when Chaitanya Prabhu glorifies Haridas Thakur, saying that there are great other devotees who can behave nicely but cannot preach. And there are other great devotees who can preach nicely, they cannot behave. But Chaitanya Prabhu glorifies Haridas Thakur that you preach nicely and behave nicely. So it's a wonderful example. That's why I was wanted to bring up the Haridas Thakur's, how Maharaj gave a wonderful example. So this is what I was talking about. So thank you very much, all of you, and giving me opportunity to serve Vaishnavas and chance to serve Guru Maharaj. So do we have any questions we can talk about or discuss? Anything?
You said that Narada represents Vasant and Daksha represents Kammakanda. Who represents?
Yeah. Kumara, yeah, Char Kumaras, Sanat Kumaras. So those are the
They have taken the jnana.
yeah, those they have taken the Jnana Kanda, and then we have seen different pastimes how Kumaras have been taken a Jnana Kanda unless until they reach to the Supreme Lord Narayana, and by smelling the fragrance of Tulsi on the lotus feet of Lord, and by Lord's grace, how they from Jnana Kanda came to the understand the transcendental knowledge. So without the mercy of the Lord, it's very hard to receive. But they represent, like, yes, you have the Jnana Kanda. Like even in today's world, we know there is a Jnana Kanda. They know, okay, I should not do that. I should not cheat. I should not kill. I should not do anything else. But the problem is this: unless until that Jnana Kanda is properly come to the level of transcendental, then it is useful that you know that Jnana. Okay, I have to use all my senses in the service of the Lord. Then it becomes fulfilled.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Question from your consumer. Hare Krishna.
What is it?
No. I think Tulsi. Please record.